Pound.
In a world,
Shut the hell up.
where Carolina Panthers fans
Anthony from Charlotte, keep motherfucking pounding.
have an insatiable thirst
I need to see a lot more of that shit going forward.
for Panthers news and opinions.
All my C3 brethren from the C3 Legion.
Only one podcast roars ferociously.
The longest running Panthers podcast on the internet.
It's the C3 Panthers Podcast.
Oh, Greg, I owe y'all $100, man.
What's the deal, Panther fans? You're listening to the C3 Panthers Podcast, brought to you by CarolinaCatChronicles.com, where every Tuesday night we chop up the latest Panthers news and opinions from the fan perspective. The Panthers are coming off a 30-14 loss against the Dallas Cowboys, where the offensive line struggled and the defense gave up over 200 yards rushing for the fifth time this season. Bryce Young takes accountability for his part in the loss, and now the Panthers are taking on the Arizona Cardinals to try to get back a little mojo and get us back off the couch, off the therapy couch, and back to optimism mode. My name's Tony Dunn. They call me the professor. Each and every week I roll with my wheelman, Cody Lack. How are you, my friend?
Tony, at this point in the season, after the Panthers have been eliminated from playoff contention, we know that we're looking forward to 2025 to really see the team that we want to. Now we're just trying to find those, to use a saying from our brother Diesel Skills. We're looking for these moral victory Mondays and reasons to find things to hang our hat on, to get excited for about this offseason. But it's hard to do when you continuously have good players being put on IR. You have your franchise quarterback reverting back to the means. There's been a ton of conversation around it. And we have Kyler Murray and the Arizona Cardinals coming to town to Bank of America Stadium. But Tony Dunn, as always, there's no way I'd rather be on a Tuesday night than sitting here with my boys talking Panther football with the best damn Panther fans in all of YouTube. You know them and love them. It's our boy Panther Pickle, D's Ill Skills, Joey the Blind Panther, Easy did that, Kristen Butler, Mike Dupree, Mossy Man 789 News, Muscles Marinara Paisan, Rock Rhyme, Roosevelt Mongo, Thomas DeFries, and Trap X. Tony Dunn, ain't nothing to it but to do it, brother. Let's roll.
The number is 252-228-5098. That's 252-228-5098. We'd love to get your thoughts on the Panthers, that's the struggles against the Dallas Cowboys, and how they can finish out the season in a way that will bring you some optimism going forward. CK, you're looking crispy, brother. Is that like a cardigan or something? Pullover?
No, just a nice little hoodie, big dog. Just little zip-up hoodie, just a basic. It's probably a Walmart hoodie, if I'm being honest with you.
Hey, you're looking crispy. Your camera's looking great. How you doing, my friend?
Man, I'm just happy to be here hanging out with the fellas, man. It's one of the bright spots of my week to be able to talk Panthers football with you fellas. And, we'll see. I'm going to be going to the game on Sunday. So we're going to close out the season at Bank of America Stadium with me showing up, and hopefully we'll come away with something to be excited about, with this team showing up in some way, shape, or form. But, man, I'll tell you what, it is starting to become a bit disheartening, but you could tell that they're kind of packing up and ready to kind of end this season just based on the moves they've made with, putting a couple people on the season-ending IR and what have you. So we'll see what they do, but right now it just feels like the organization is kind of getting things tidy and not risking putting guys out there to get injured more, especially at this point in the season when it's pointless.
Yeah, and there's struggles across look, there's some more news about Deontay Johnson, excused from practice. We'll talk about that. You guys go ahead and smash the thumbs up button, subscribe to the show, be a friend, tell a friend, tell somebody about the show, drop the link on social media. You're on Twitter, repost, Facebook, thumbs up, reshare. A lot of people help us out and help us find new listeners that way. Consider being a C3 super fan for $1.99 a month. And we thank you all for your time, attention, and input. Let's jump into tonight's show. Cody Lack, where do we start with this? Carolina regresses as the Cardinals come calling. Where do we start tonight's show with? I want to know that.
Well, I think we're just going to start tonight with the the most pressing news in Panther fandom. Rookie linebacker Trevin Wallace has been placed on IR along with Claude and Carolus, leaving them thin at the position for the final 3 weeks. The Panthers' injury problems on defense continues to mount as 2 more linebackers went on IR Tuesday. The Panthers placed linebackers Trevin Wallace and Claude and Carolus on IR Tuesday, which shuts them down for the rest of the season. Wallace, their 3rd-round pick from Kentucky, was starting after the season in the injury to veteran Shaq Thompson and playing well, but he suffered a shoulder injury in Philadelphia that was going to cost him time. Carolus replaced him last week and suddenly suffered a foot injury and came back to play the second half. To replace them on the roster, the Panthers have signed wide receiver Dan Chisena and linebacker Jacoby Windman from the practice squad. Both have been activated and played this season. So, listen, we're already wondering how we're going to stop the run, seeming as how we know. Now, 2 of your players that you had been depending on a lot are now down. So, this defense is looking very porous right now. And the wounded sustain yet another wound.
Well, it's a long season and things like this are happening. They're going to happen. Trevin Wallace, I mean, look, it's probably better that they shut these guys down and it not be problematic for the long term, particularly Trevin Wallace. And I think Claude and Carolus had a good game, or at least
he did. He had a few big
9 tackles or something like that. So
yeah.
I don't think that this season has been any more injury riddled than any other season in a sense. Like, yes, while we've suffered some big ones to where it comes to Derek Brown, and you can say Shaq Thompson, some Wanham starting the season. All these things happen each year, right? I mean, and good teams have the depth and the personnel to withstand it. And Panthers just weren't good enough as it is. And then, you suffer these things. I'm watching for Xavier Legette. Like, this guy's been getting beat up like crazy out there.
Yeah.
What's going to be the news with him? What's next?
CK, what do you got to say about these linebackers going down?
Man, it's kind of what I was talking about. I bet you a couple of these injuries you probably could see these guys playing through, but I just think that, as Tony said, I think it's a good thing, kind of put the bow on the season for these guys. Let's not do anything rash that's going to make their availability for next year come into question. Let them start to get healed a little bit quickly. I'm surprised they haven't done this. I know it's a potential, but I'm surprised they haven't made it official with XL right now.
Yeah. I mean, when we're talking about these problems with a run and it can't really get any worse. I mean, I'm to the point where it's just like, you know what? Let them hand the ball off. Let them go all the way to the end zone, and let's just try to catch up.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to take a snapshot of the final roster that we have on defense in our final game this season compared to what it's going to be at the start of next year. Because it's going to be, I'm willing to venture, it's going to look very different. I think this entire linebacking core, outside of a couple pieces, might have new players. I'm expecting us to go out there and get 2 defensive linemen. We need a lot of retooling. And just like last year was made clear what the objective was to build around Bryce. And that still is the objective, obviously. But you have to be able to add more firepower to the defense, specifically on that front 7, which is where we're lacking really bad right now.
It's kind of just the reverse of last year. We had to redo the offensive line. But speaking of, Panthers offensive line has struggled over the last couple of weeks.
Yeah, the one bright spot on our team this year, Tony and CK, that we've had a good pass protecting offensive line. Chuba Hubbard has had a great year running the football. And yet, man, something about that Cowboys defense, their front 7, they always give us a problem. After allowing 22 sacks in 13 games, the Cowboys sacked Bryce Young repeatedly in the second half as the Panthers weren't able to sustain the run game. There was more discussion and explanation, really, but it was as simple as that. The Panthers lost 30-14 to the Cowboys for a lot of reasons, but near the top of the list was their inability to protect quarterback Bryce Young the way they had earlier in these recent games. After investing heavily on the offensive line in both personnel and coaches, the Panthers had allowed just 22 sacks in the first 13 games and 6 sacks in the previous 5 games. And the Cowboys had 6 sacks on Sunday, all in the second half, and a pair by Michael Parsons. That's where the Panthers head coach Dave Canales began his version of the explanation. He said, well, I think Michael Parsons is a special player, and that's true. He certainly got some wins out there, but I think it was really the mode that when they put us in this mode where we were playing from behind and we have to go for it and we have to throw the ball and try to flip the field and try to get points, we play into the opponent's hands. In that regard, it allows defensive coordinator Mike Zimmer with a really good pressure package and then just some good players up front. Boys, we got our ass whooped. There's no other way to say it other than they just whooped our ass. But what was it specifically about this Dallas defensive line that just absolutely throttled us?
I mean, I think that there is a reality, because I don't think that I felt like the offensive line was a major issue going into the out of the first half. I think the moment that game became a 2-possession game, we became one-dimensional, and that's kind of where we've always had issues with not just only our offense, but Bryce is struggling, our offensive line struggles, because when you have all you really need to worry about is no longer Chuba Hubbard. Chuba Hubbard's no longer a threat when we're playing from 3 possessions in arrears, if you will. So I think that it has to do with that. I think, Dave Canales is not wrong. I don't think that's a scapegoat answer. I don't think it's fair to put everything on the offensive line saying they just underperformed, because, again, I think that majority of those sacks came in the second half when we were just in clear passing downs, to be honest.
Yeah, I think I'm with CK is that the Panthers, and I think any team, once you go into one-dimensional mode, unless you just got that special quarterback, and I'm not saying, Bryce, truth, hold up, guys, I'm not saying he's not good, but a guy that can just destroy you like a Tom Brady-esque type player, it's very difficult to be a one-dimensional team in the NFL. It's just really, once you're playing from behind, everybody knows what's going down. And the plays take longer to develop. And that's where, and really it just led to one more problem after another problem. And that is the pressure led to fumbles. The fumbles led to being behind. The being behind more led to more sacks, more pressure, more fumbles. And it just kind of got out of control in a way.
So 2 things I think were really the downfall for the offensive line. It was that interior. I think the center and Gabriel Lewis, they got worked, and we even said the past 2 games in a row for Robert Hunt, and we've sung his praises this year. They were just really not strong up the middle. Another thing that I'll say, and then look, some people think I'm too hard on Icky, but I just continue to have not a lot of faith in Icky. I understand that it's Michael Parsons, but I feel like it's games like these when he really gets exposed. I think that these speed rushers that are just so nimble and explosive and athletic, they can just get to the back foot and fight hands better than Icky can. And I'm not even saying that to shit on him, but I'm saying that as to me, it's a legitimate concern. And I feel like as he continues to go up against the better pass rushers, he just falls short. Now, people have come back to me and said that, well, overall, he has played good this year. He's had a high PFF grade for whatever that matters to you. And then I'm just taking this one game too harshly. And I don't know, man. I don't feel like he's a bad player, but I feel like in scenarios like these now and into the future, he's probably going to continue to be a liability.
I mean, what is he, 3rd-year player now?
Yeah, I believe so.
Right? 1 year with Wilkes, then 1 year with Reich, and then this is his 3rd year. It's, hopefully he's going to develop start to get step forward next year. But I don't think I don't think he's really looked as out of pocket as he did last season, though.
No. Well, again, it's the reality, I think, of that position is when you have the pieces around you, you can look like a reasonable player, right? I think that's what we're seeing with Cade Mays, even though he's made some big mistakes at center. These guys, if you have a solid, supporting cast, these guys can look average, if not above average. I don't think that is a direct knock on Icky. I think that there is a lot to be said about what this coaching staff has done with this offensive line, even when there have been injuries. So I still would like to hold out hope that for such a high draft pick that he will turn into a guy that we can rely on for a long period of time. But right now, you just don't see I don't know. You don't see the dominance from a guy that looks as big as he is. He should be mean, right? He should be able to just put these guys in the ground and you want him to have that, as Cody talks about, that first step that, you see guys like Brady Christensen have, or, any of these really top flight left tackles in the league. And he just seems to be a bit slow off of the snap. And I don't know if that's a fixable thing, to be honest.
I still feel like he's better serviced as a guard, but we'll probably never get the opportunity to even see that, even though a lot of us would like to. Another thing I wanted to bring up in relation to this offensive line is I feel like whenever we commit to passing the ball too much, this is what happens.
Yeah.
That our identity really is a run-first football team. And I feel like we got a little bit too high on our own supply these past couple of weeks with what we've been able to do with Bryce. And I think that the Dallas Cowboys front seven just made us sit our ass down and take a step back and realize what we're built to do. And that is be aggressive and run the football.
Yeah, it stinks, man. I didn't think that they would have their way with us. I mean, you got Cooper Rush having his best game of his career against his defense. They're sacking the quarterback everywhere, turnovers. Just really, I should have seen it coming. My friend, we were doing picks on Pirate Radio, and my boy Clip just was like, this is just one of those games that they're not supposed to win, the Cowboys, but they are going to. And he was right. What do we got next?
Yep. So next up on the docket, man, this defense, God, just absolutely abysmal, man. And we're continuing to have this conversation about Ejiro Evero. It's almost easy to have at this point. So another tough day for the run defense. The Cowboys ran for 211 yards, the third straight week an opponent top 200, plus more from the aftermath. So this is from the Panthers homepage. For the third straight week, the fifth time this season, the Panthers defense gave up over 200 yards on the ground. It's the same story, different day for a team that has been looking for answers in that area all season. Well, actually, they have the answers. It's the execution that has been lacking. I mean, that's just like a mindset, said an exasperated J.C. Horn. It ain't really nothing. We've been saying all the same stuff since we were kids. Hit, wrap, lift, drive. That's what we got to do. Just tackle better and get to the ball. So what J.C. Horn is saying right there, it is about your fundamentals. It is about how well you are coached on your fundamentals. And Dave Canales would later on echo that same sentiment about the fundamentals of this team. But if you're still drilling fundamentals in your third year under Ejiro Evero, isn't that reminiscent of a problem here? Like the basics of the basics, your team doesn't do well at a consistent level.
You'll go back to being a two-bit nothing. But don't you ever come back here again, because I'm too old to waste my time trying to train a no-good loser like you bum.
Those guys are a bunch of bums.
Bums, dude. Man, this run, it's so, God. I just know, it's like, how long do we have to wait for this team to be? I mean, I don't even want to be good against the run. It's like comment, man. People just, and that's the other problem, CK, when we get behind, not only do you become one-dimensional, but when teams are able to just control the clock, they reduce all the possession. So you're down like, what, maybe 3 scores at one point? And I mean, it was probably 17 points or something to that effect. And I'm looking at it, it's like there's 3 minutes left in the third, and you're like, man, we got 2 more possessions.
Yeah, no, it's what's most disheartening is, a lot of times when you see 211 yards on the ground, your first thought is there was a big hit, right? There was like a big 50-yarder. I talked about this after the Eagles game.
Yes,
there wasn't. There's not, like, these are numbers being put up consistently without them getting a home run hit, right?
Yeah, just 8 yards a clip.
That's what's wild about it. Like, when you look at the Eagles, when they have a 200-yard rushing game, Saquon ran for 70 yards on one play one time, right? I'm not saying that they weren't consistently able to get movement and get good penetration on a defensive line and have a decent day outside of that one big hit. But the reality is, like, you run against this defense, you're getting 5 yards. And there might be the time, occasions where we're able to stop that. But even when we know that's all that's coming, we cannot do anything to stop it. This is not, again, just to clarify, guys, people listening, anybody just willing to hear what I have to say, this was against basically third stringers.
Yes.
And the offensive line of the Cowboys. Right, our defensive line could not even stop the run against third-string offensive linemen. They were getting bullied by guys who would struggle to make the team on most any other NFL squad in the entire league. Like, these aren't guys that are going to be going to get starting jobs anywhere else. You're talking about going up against guys who have been in the shadow of potential Hall of Famers there, between Zach Martin and some of those other guys. They can't even remember half their names. They're like, you're dealing with a completely destroyed offensive line there. That should make you super concerned, like incredibly concerned, if you're a Panthers fan, that this defensive line cannot do anything. And if you're looking in this draft and your first thought is, let's go after a wide receiver as opposed to let's shore up this run defense, I am telling you, we are not going to be a good team next year either, unless we can do something to fix this problem.
Yeah, and especially going into this Sunday, it just makes me think that between Connor and Kyler Murray, that they're just going to come in and run all over us, man. And it says something when damn near any offensive line can come in here and fold our front seven like a cheap wallet. It's not good. No bueno. And again, I'm tired of doing this song and dance of, is it Avero or is it the talent that he has available to him? It doesn't matter anymore, dude. We need something different. This team needs something different. I'm personally in the camp where I say I hope that we move back to a 4-3 starting in 2025. I just think that it fits us better. I think it fits our personality as the Panthers better. It's just what we've known for a longer time. And I think that it's better at stopping the run when you do it correctly. So that's what I think will happen. I don't know what will happen. Yeah.
I'd like to remind you guys that the C3 Panthers podcast is brought to you by Underdog Fantasy, where over 5 million happy players have won $2 billion. Man, you could go and get right now. They got all types of great promotions for people that are signing up or people that are continuing to play. Justin Herbert's a free play right now, folks. So, hey, go to Underdog Fantasy or download the app. Use the promo code C3P to get up to $1,000 in bonus cash. You can get Justin Herbert free, a half yard. You can get in on the basketball, on the hockey action. And I was going to say I've just been going Chuba over, Chuba more Chuba. Kind of tough right now at that point. But this is a way for you guys to make some cash, right? And enjoy football, playing a little fantasy, and help the podcast continue to grow. Download the app today. Use the promo code C3P and get up to $1,000 in bonus cash instantly. They've got vulture protection. If you select a designated running back to score a touchdown in your pick'em entry and they get vultured, Underdog will rescue you. So look, they've got a bunch of different games that you can play, a bunch of different options, fantasy, sports, all year round. And Cody Lack, I think it's time to do what you do best.
Must be 18 years or older, 19 plus in Alabama and Nebraska, 19 plus in Colorado for some games, and 21 plus in Massachusetts and Arizona, and present in the state where Underdog Fantasy operates. Terms apply. Void in Colorado. Concerned with your play, call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit ncpgambling.org. Arizona, call 1-800-NEXT-STEP. That's 1-800-639-8783 or text NEXT STEP to 53342. New York, call the 24/7 Hope line at 1-877-8-HOPE-NEW YORK or text HOPE New York to 467-369. Thank you to Underdog Fantasy for sponsoring the C3 Panthers podcast all the way through February. Again, use our promo code C3P. It helps the podcast tremendously.
Tony, I think it's time to take some calls, man. We need to hear what the fans got to say about this loss, about going forward. Bryce Young, I'm sure there will be plenty of blame or tears to spread around.
Let's do that, man. The number is 252-228-5098.
So what are your thoughts on catcalling?
Yeah, it's pretty. You shouldn't do that to somebody.
And how did that make you feel?
Very uncomfortable.
So how do you think catcalling makes the person feel?
It feels good, like.
Who's that cat sitting in the back corner with his face buried in his nose? Who's that kid that can use one?
10 carries, but 32 yards. Chuba Hubbard had 10 carries for 32 yards in our loss versus the Cowboys. Panther Nation is the hope dealer. We got a 1,000-yard rusher going up against, I want to say, the 30th ranked run defense in the NFL in Dallas. And our all-star running back had 10 carries for 32 yards. Brothers, the reason I continue to talk about Dave Canales and his poor play calling is because of this right here. We were down 10-7 at the half. 10-7. And Canales, he panics too quick. 10-7 at halftime. At the beginning of the second half, he should have established the run with Chuba Hubbard. But what does he do? The first thing he does, he pulls out his Carson High School playbook and calls a pass for Bryce Young in which Bryce fumbles. That sets the tone for the rest of the game. 10 carries for 32 yards. C3 Nation, men lie, women lie, numbers don't lie. Canales needs to clean it up. No more of this first-time head coach nonsense. He's at the end of his first year. This is the hope dealer checking in.
This is the saddest I've heard the hope dealer than the last two calls.
Yeah, but he's speaking a lot of the truth here, man. Like, it's what I said earlier. When we don't have that stubborn, insistence upon running the football, like Canales said that we were going to before the start of this year, it shows, man. 10 carries and 32 yards for Chuba Hubbard. That's an abysmal stat line.
Yeah.
Especially once he's been doing so good this year, pounding the rock for us. I don't know where this comes from. And it is another example in a long line of questionable decisions that Canales has made as the offensive coordinator. And how long does offensive coordinator and coach, right? But how long does him being a rookie head coach, how long is that leash? You know what I mean? Like, yeah, he's learning on the fly too, but I feel like there are some scenarios that he has really shown kind of his naivety or his just lack of experience in a lot of these areas. I don't know. What would y'all say?
To me, I think this is like really, I think trying to parse the play calling is kind of a waste of time. Yeah, I mean, like when you just look at the stats, and the hope dealer said you can't, the numbers don't lie, but you can torture stats till you get the answers you want. Look, I mean, this comes down to the turnovers, man. We gave them short fields.
Yeah,
they scored and go up. It's like, so you don't even have a chance to establish the run when you don't have the ball. You know, so I mean, look, I mean, there's been some times that we thought that we were going to lean more into Chuba Hubbard than we did in the past. Bryce has been dealing for the last couple of weeks. They had confidence. He had confidence. And man, when he came out first drive, he's smoking it, dude. I mean, just boom, 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 moving down the field, and then the turnover changes.
Yeah.
I mean, I hate to just always go back to Ron Rivera, but things come down to a few plays. And those few plays were all fumbles.
Missed opportunities.
Yeah.
Missed opportunities. Yeah. It's the other piece too, is like, it's the things that we were saying the past 5 weeks that we weren't winning, or 3 weeks prior to this, were the same things, but it was other people. And this game was Bryce Young, right?
Yeah.
I think that we fix one thing and then more things happen. And then we then regress on the things we fixed, and then the other stuff is still bad, and we're all of a sudden getting blown out again, right? For 5 weeks, we had competitive football, and then here we are going up against the Cowboys, and we find a way to just absolutely make it look horrible. And I just don't think that it's a really crappy situation when you don't have any part of your team that can have a bad day, because the other part of the team will not pick up the slack. Like, it's just if you want to win games, and even when you do play as perfect as you possibly can, you still aren't doing it enough because you just don't have what is necessary to push you over the top. That's the thing that's frustrating, is to see when things do click, we still aren't winning. When things don't click, we are definitely not winning, and there's nobody picking up that slack. It's so frustrating.
We've been competitive in games, but we haven't turned the ball over for the last 3 weeks. This, you know, and you said you hit the nail on the head, CK, is that the team's just the other parts of the team aren't good enough or able to compensate on their own. They're barely surviving on their own as it is under good circumstances. So when you put them in tough situations, you know, there's not a part of the team that can compensate for failures. And we said this, I think, early on, is like, there's just no room for error with this team.
Yeah.
And there really wasn't with the 53-man roster to start. You look at the roster and you're like, man, I mean, there's some things that could happen, but you need all of it to go right. And so it hasn't all gone right. I'm not as down after this loss as
other people. Yeah, 100%. I
mean, it's like, God, I just kind of knew that this is how our team was, in a sense.
Yeah, I mean, well, again, what we were happy to see is that there is a blueprint that we saw the past few weeks that we can follow, right? And there are different things that, you know, it made it feel like it wasn't as far away as it possibly had, we had believed it to be prior to the past 5 weeks, of the Panthers football that got us somewhat excited. This past week, I think a lot of people regress back to what Cody said, the mean, right? This team is so far away from it that it's not even, I have a hard time believing that front or that part of it. The question I have, the part that is tough, is that we do have 40 free agents going into next year.
Good Lord.
So when you realize that, it's like, okay, so even if we are competitive, we're still basically building. And if you think about 40, that means there's 13 people on this team that we're keeping, or that are under contract for next year.
You know what? That's awesome, because they're on the offensive line, and that's it.
Yeah, offensive line, Bryce Young, the rookies that we drafted, And I don't know who else is on the is Chuba Hubbard, right?
Yeah, J.C. Horn 1 more year.
Yeah. So that's the part that's a bit disheartening, is that we are basically going to have to rebuild this team from scratch. And, you hope that we're not going to have to go all the way back to the beginning, that we can get some of these guys to come back that have been contributors. I'm not against Josie Jewell returning.
Right.
He's actually been a pretty reasonable player for us. But I don't know, man. I don't think we're as far away if we can get some of these guys back, and then we can focus on the draft and free agency, and we can shore up some of these things like we did this past offseason with the offensive line.
Is that 40 out of 53?
Yeah.
I wonder if we could name the 13, right? So we got.
It seems like it would be more than 13, just based off if we start doing that, just with the rookies alone. It makes you feel like,
I know. So you got Bryce, you got Robert Hunt, you got who's the guy that we got?
Lewis.
Damian Lewis, that's 3.
Icky.
Icky.
Taylor Moton.
Yep, 5. Then you can go
Xavier
Brown.
Thielen.
Derek Brown.
Yeah, Derek
Chuba
Brown.
Hubbard, Adam Thielen, Clowney, Wanham,
Xavier Legette, Thielen,
Wallace.
See, how does Coker's situation work? As an undrafted, he was probably signed to a 1-year deal, so we'll probably have to re-sign him.
It's like Hecker coming back. I mean, is Hecker?
I feel like if I had to guess, that dude's about to retire.
And that means that Pinero isn't.
Let me tell you what, he doesn't play like a dude about to retire. That's what
I know.
He's awesome.
No, he is.
That's
He's really
interesting.
cool.
You know what? That means this is the other thing I was going to say about that. Take the mic. Is I'm not really sad about any of these dudes leaving either.
Yeah.
No, I'm not really sad. We haven't had enough wins, but I wanted to read this. Answer this question by Panther guy. It just says, I don't understand why I stay with the run when it ain't working. I need educated. Like to this point, I would say when you're not able to run the football against Dallas and then you just abandon it, it allows them to pin their ears back and get aggressive because they know that you're not going to run the football, that you're going to end up being in passing downs. It allows them to play aggressive. And, when you have Michael Parsons and the other defensive tackle whose name I forget, but he was just wrecking our shit that entire game. They didn't have to blitz to get home. They were able to win rushing 4, so they were able to drop back 7 into coverage damn near. So, if you're not running the football against that, then it's a snowball rolling downhill.
All right, let's take another call.
Hey,
Okay.
this is the Hope Dilla real quick. This is my second call. Hey, my apologies, y'all. I realize I did not properly greet my man CK, Tony Dunn, man, Cody Lack, C3 Nation. I didn't properly
Dilla,
greet
what's
y'all,
up?
man, and that was rude. I apologize. I'm just hurt. It's kind of like what Tony was saying earlier in the season. It was like when Tony was basically saying, like, don't give me hope. Don't give me hope. And the past 4 or 5 weeks, man, it gave me hope. And I know I'm supposed to be the Hope Dilla. I overreacted in my last call with Dave Canales. I just, I struggle with the play call and not running the ball more. And Chuba getting 10 carries, man, when other games when he got 20, 25 carries, he had 100+ yards. It's just tough, man. I know one game doesn't define us. I've been going through a few things in my personal life too, and it's just I look forward to Sundays, man. But anyway, to y'all boys, man, C3 Nation, we got to keep hope alive, man, into this off season. 3 more games left. Hopefully we can salvage something. But at the end of it all, man, keep pounding.
Appreciate it. Man. Oh, great caller. Great support of the show. We appreciate it. And, it is what it is. It's okay to get down. Yeah. I think this is, to be honest, I was to the point where we were about to make that shirt, or still need to make it. Apathy is apathy.
Yeah, apathy is apathy, big dog.
Like, I was to the point I didn't want to watch the game.
Yeah, but thank God we have this. wonderful C3 Legion to help us keep our head up high for ourselves and for each other, man. Keep pounding, baby. You already know what it is.
All right, let's keep going with the calls.
What's going on, C3? It's Anthony from Charlotte.
What's up, man?
Boys are having a good Tuesday. Just obviously wanted to call in, normal gig, talk about our team, man. Yeah, last week was a tough week. I think the team kind of propped themselves up, kind of thought they were all that, after competing with these top teams, which is good. You want to see a confident unit like that, but you don't want to see a cocky unit. And at the end of the day, we didn't finish those 3 games. They're not in the win column, so ultimately it doesn't really mean that much. Besides for the morality part of that, but players don't look for that, as we know. And I see a lot of people flipping on Bryce Young or already going back to their original takes. Listen, man, I'm just gonna come out and say it. This fan base is bipolar, man. This fan base is bipolar. It's been diagnosed by Dr. Ant. And there's nothing we can do with that. If we have to live with this disease, we will. But at the same time, man, it's like we've seen what this kid can do. We've seen what he can do. Like Cody said, you got to give slack to games like this because you can see the vision of him being a good quarterback. I think last year we didn't have that. Obviously, the loss was on him too. But think about the way he's played the last, 4 weeks in particular. The defense hasn't given us any favors, really, and the defense is horrible. So I don't know if we're just expecting Bryce Young to play, great football every single game, no matter the outcome. I mean, the Cowboys destroyed our offensive line, fair and square. Yeah, we got to look forward to it, man. We got pick 4 right now. I mean, we got the Cardinals this week. Are we going to win? I don't think so. We don't really match up well with Kyler Murray, and they're a heavy run team. Their defense is all right. It's solid. I wouldn't say it's as good as the Cowboys, so maybe we can put up some points. But yeah, that's just all I got to say, man. I'm just sick of the flip-flopping, man. There's always time to adjust given new information, but it's just like, Bryce Young at this point, just give him another year. Let's see if we can put it together through a 17-game sample size next year. If he can't, great. We'll move on. But that's all I got to say. Give me your thoughts, Anthony from Charlotte. Keep motherfucking pounding.
Keep pounding.
Yeah. They call them fanatics for a reason, or fans for a reason, because they're fanatics. And bipolar disease is built into being a fan, I guess. The truth always lies somewhere in the middle, probably. And this I guess it complicates things in a little bit for the narrative that Bryce Young had just proven himself.
Yeah.
Is that I agree with Anthony. I don't have any. I think we saw enough from Bryce Young this year to where we can at least just feel comfortable saying, look, there's so many things that this team needs to improve on, that we invested a lot in this. Let's continue to just see where it can go, at least in the short term, and hopefully it'll pan out in the long term.
I mean, I think 3 years was kind of always a fair number to put on the amount of time that he would have to show that he was a franchise quarterback. I will be honest with you. If we have another year that starts out like it did this year, where those first 2 games are absolutely abysmal, I don't know that Dave Canales is not just going to pull the ripcord on that and move on. I know, Anthony wants to see that 17-game sample size, but I think that if we start to see those same issues that we were seeing from the get-go with him this year, and there isn't any redeeming qualities in those games, I don't think he's going to risk not having a competitive team for the rest of the year just to give Bryce Young an opportunity. You're running quickly out of time to have the benefit of a rookie contract with Bryce Young, and going 3, entirely third year to find out if that's the guy or not. If he does happen to turn it on, but the season's lost, well, guess what? We're going into season 4 and having to make a decision on his 5th year option.
And also think about this from the position of Dave Canales too. You know that the owner is very finicky and he will fire a head coach at the drop of a hat. Like, for how long is he willing to tie his future and his fate to Bryce Young, a quarterback that he might have come here and accepted the job to build him up and turn him around, but he was not a part of the decision-making process that led to us drafting Bryce Young. So, yeah, dude, it's time to shit or get off the pot. I said this on Sunday during the post-game show, that to me, Bryce has already done enough for me to want to see him next year. I want to see what another offseason, what another wide receiver addition, what could Bryce be next year in that third year, which has been so pivotal for other quarterbacks coming through this league. So I do want to see that. But to me, he has not proven anything else beyond that. And I don't know how long of a leash Canales would give to Bryce Young in this situation. I feel like Dan Morgan also has a ton to say about this, considering he's been one of Bryce Young's biggest champions throughout this whole process. So it'll be interesting to see how this plays out, man. But Bryce, he's going to need another good performance or two to finish out this year before I feel like Canales is going to have a ton of confidence in him moving forward.
Bryce Young had 4 turnovers in this game. Cody, let's go back to the presentation. I think, Bryce had to wait, we had something about Bryce taking accountability. Where is it? There it is. Bryce Young accepts his share of the blame after 4 turnover day. He let the team down, he said. The fumbles to me were the real problem. I mean, you're trying to come back at the end. But tough day for Bryce. I think still and I know you can't take away turnovers. They are takeaways, so you can't take away a takeaway. But I mean, he's, I think, moving it well. I think he's throwing the ball well for the most part. So I'm not I don't see this game, despite it being a struggle for him, as negating all of the things that we saw over the last 4 weeks.
Yeah. And real quick, to go back to a discussion that we were having on Sunday, not to do an I told you so, but listening to Greg Olsen on that first interception, or on the interception where he drives the ball to Adam Thielen. On the broadcast, Greg Olsen said that Thielen was the second option and that he forced the ball to him when he had Jatavion Sanders wide open. So Greg Olsen seemed to put that one more on Bryce. I would say 3 out of the 4 were on Bryce. CK and I think Tony both said, more like 2. But whatever. It was not a great performance by Bryce.
Two turnovers are still a bad game. Let's be real about it.
100%. Yeah. So Bryce Young was asked about this, and he said, I've just got to look in the mirror. Can't turn the ball over like that, obviously, in this league. That's 100% on me. I've got to be better. I let the team down today. After a season of up and downs, Sundays saw the extreme of each. The highest of the high. The high was the highest of his career in 83-yard touchdown to Jalen Coker, the longest pass Young had thrown since coming into the NFL. He said Jalen just did a great job of feeling himself open, kind of breaking off his route a little bit, just going to grass when we're on the same page when it came to that. So when you get those opportunities, you have to be able to take advantage of them. So Bryce says the right things. He's very apologetic about it, as the quarterback is sort of trained to be.
Yeah,
but
I can't. Every time I hear someone say, "I just got to look at the mirror," look in the mirror, I can't help but think about Cam when he said, "When I look at the man's in the mirror." I love you, Cam. I miss you. I love you, Cam. When I look at the man's in the mirror, he looks fucking awesome. That's what I would say. All right.
Is
Well,
it just as simple as Bryce getting beat up and having his offensive line fail him so bad?
I think it's as simple to say this is that the guy's 5'10", 185 pounds, and he's getting smoked by a big ass 300-pound man,
Yep,
and he's
sometimes you're gonna have to have that happen and still put the game on your back.
Well, you just got to hold on to the ball.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying, man. That's a problem, man. You can't be small and give the ball away the minute that you're hit. I mean, this is a problem.
I don't think you know what? I don't think he's really had a fumble-itis problem as a player.
Between when you weigh in last year and this year, it hasn't been as much of a problem this year, but it still shows you that it's a problem. He fumbled a bunch last year too.
I think he was starting to feel so good about his play that he was playing a little risky. You know, it's like when I think it was the second fumble, and when he's like putting downfield and the pressure's coming up from behind him, he knew those guys were there. He ain't outrunning all of that. So I think he had a bad game. I'm just chalking up to that.
We're hoping, man. We're hoping. Another slide that we did miss was the lowest catch rates allowed in the NFL right now. Look who's sitting at number 4, J.C. Horn. And Tony, I put this in there because I'm just starting to pound the drum where not only am I saying we should pay J.C. Horn right now, but I'm even going to go a step further to say he will go into next year with a brand new deal. I don't think they're going to let him play under the 5th year. I think they're going to wrap him up and they're going to make him a continued piece of this defense moving forward.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of hard. CK brought this up, I don't know, it's probably a month ago, about like how hard to judge him as a player when he doesn't travel around, you know, and you're.
It's so stupid, dude. That we don't make him travel is to me the biggest critique of Avero that you can have right now. That we don't put him on the best wide receiver on their team when that's what he has the capability to do. He said after the game that he wants to do that and can do that, but he's playing based on the scheme. It's so frustrating, dude.
All right, let's get back to the calls. Numbers 252-228-5098. That's 252-228-5098. Let's see what we got next.
C3 Panther Nation. What's going on, boys? It's your boy Preston from Hickory.
What up, Preston?
Hey, Tony, my man, Tony. Look, brother, I don't want to talk about the draft either.
Thank you.
Unfortunately, you know, with us being out of playoff contention, of course, every Panther fan is going to want to talk about the shit. But guess what? This is my fucking phone call, and I'm not talking about the draft.
Thank you. Thank Jesus.
Instead, I want to talk about what the real important thing is, and is what we can, as Panther fans, can squeeze out of the rest of this football season to be the slightest bit excited about. And really, the most important thing, boys, really to look at coaching. Coaching. Seeing if Dave Canales can keep these guys who really essentially are playing for nothing, see if he can keep them motivated. The development is still going. I mean, these guys are not going to stop developing. This is a very, very young squad we got. It's a very young team. Bryce, you know, as much praise as we've given him, as much grace as we've given him, he's shown that he still has, you know, a little bit of growing to do and a little bit of developing to do. So really, it's about coaching. The rest of this season, the last 3 games, is about coaching and what Dave Canales has to do to grow and develop too as a coach. I mean, again, rookie head coach, first time play caller. So what can he do to keep this team and this squad, this young squad, motivated? I mean, when the offseason comes, really, I'm more excited about free agency, you know, and what we do there, what pieces we can acquire, what proven commodity can we get other than, some unknown. I mean, don't get me wrong, the draft is exciting, but I'm really more excited, me personally, as a Panthers fan, I'm more excited for, free agents. But, yeah, man, that's about all tonight, man. Y'all boys, hey, everybody like, subscribe, Best Damn Panthers Podcast on the damn internet. Keep pounding, boys. Keep pounding.
Keep pounding, brother. Appreciate you, Preston.
Thank you, Preston. I guess I'm with you that, well, with free agency, look, I think that the teams, it's really hard to rebuild a team through the draft. Like, I mean, you got to do both. You can't win in this league by just drafting players, and you can't win in this league by just going and buying players. This is when we go back to the old Dave Gettleisms. You use free agency to set up the draft. And the Panthers are going to need to do, I think it's pretty clear what they need to do, CK, and that is just mirror the strategy they had last year for the offensive line, but just flip it to the defense. So,
see,
he's on mute. Muted.
No, I think I'm delayed. You guys are like your audio isn't matching up with your mouth.
Oh man. Cody, can you hear me? See me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Beautiful. I can hear you good.
Thank you. So that's my idea on that. I did see that what's Travis Hunter's name is now being associated.
Yeah, I got him in the slide too. Again, if you don't give a shit about college football, then yeah, I understand why you would be like Tony. However, if you're somebody who really knows who Travis Hunter is, or really knows who Mason Graham is, or Ted McMillan or Abdul Carter, dude, it's exciting to think that right now the Carolina Panthers have an opportunity to upgrade and grab a blue chip player, in a year when we really need one. Especially a guy like Travis Hunter, if that's who we're talking about. And we have a slide of Canales talking about him when being asked about him. But that a player like that could offer so much versatility to the Panthers that we're in such desperate need of right now that it's hard to not get excited about that. At the same time, there's a lot of candy to be had in free agency too, man. So I know two of the biggest wide receiver names that come up when free agency is discussed is T. Higgins, who the Bengals are probably not going to resign at the end of this year. And I heard that Garrett Wilson potentially would want to trade at the end of this year out of New York. Again, don't know if there is any truth to that or not. But, these are names that a lot of players are like, yeah, I would love to have one of those dudes on this team right now. So, dude, it's going to be a major offseason for Carolina. And we have to hit this, man. Dan and Dave, they have to come together and build a future for this team that they intend to execute through free agency and the draft. And I think they will. I'm hoping they will. Shit.
All right, let's go to the next call.
C3, greetings from snowy Idaho. Wow. Tough Sunday for the Panthers. I'll tell you what, I felt like I got a little vindication, man. I felt like I got picked apart after the draft when Ricky from the Bow Body Show tore me a new one when I said we went from D- to D+ talent on this squad. And I know how you feel about receipts, Tony, so I won't review that too much. I just think, there's a lot of optimism the last few weeks for losing a lot of games. And now you got the neighborhood hope dealer swearing and yelling into a voicemail. It's bad, man. Anyway, what I want to know, I don't want to get into the Bryce thing about Bryce the player. I want to see what you guys think, because my hunch is Canales tipped his hand in whatever week it was, week 4, week 5, that he knew Bryce is not his long-term answer when he decided to put Bryce in rather than have the red rifle take a beating. he said, no, we're going to protect Andy Dalton. And now I think he's showing, I don't know. My hunch is he's not playing him because Dave wants to play him this much. It's the big brass balls man upstairs. I think he's on the team next year, but I think we go out and we get a journeyman. I mean, fuck. Sam Darnold, Baker Mayfield looking pretty good these days. I don't know, man.
Aaron Rodgers
I'd
talk.
love you guys' thoughts on what do you think Canales thinks about Bryce Young? Love what you guys do. Keep pounding everyone. 2025 season is just around the corner.
I think you guys read into this stuff too much. Yeah,
I don't. I mean, I don't think that there's any reason to believe that. I mean, I don't think there's any reason for him to protect Andy Dalton. To be honest with you.
Well, in week 5 there was, because he wasn't the start. I mean, the starter, unmeaningful playing time at that point, and that's when you bring in a guy like Bryce Young and get him those snaps and things like that. I don't think that anybody's made a decision on Bryce Young, particularly Dave Canales, that firmly for the long term. I think at the beginning of the season, after 2 weeks, he saw that this is not, it's not there. And you could say that was in itself a belief that he didn't believe that he's the answer. I think there's so much finality in those takes, or that kind of like the need to do that. I would just say that just like probably like us, is Dave Canales is happy that he saw some things that you could build on, some momentum going forward, takes a little pressure off. But I think he was like us, the jury's still out.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm largely in agreement. I think that the jury is still out on a lot of this, man. It's too early to tell.
I don't know if he's just said like Bryce can't be the guy. You know, he's probably thinking that a little bit earlier. Bryce did a good job of kind of saving his career in a sense.
My only thing is that he leaves a lot of room for personal interpretation. So when you don't come out and overly endorse someone and say how much you believe in them, it lets you speculate whatever you want to see into it. So I can see why some people would see some of the things that Canales says and says, well, that's not the most glowing endorsement, you know? And the fact, like, I'm telling you, before Andy Dalton got into that car crash, whenever Canales was mentioned or whenever Canales was questioned about Bryce, he didn't seem too gung-ho to give Bryce another chance. Like, we really don't know when or where he would have gotten the chance to step back in if it wasn't for this seeming divine intervention, you know, for Dalton to get into a car crash, which thank God he was healthy and not too seriously hurt, but it's just
he had a sprained thumb.
I know, it's wild.
Like non-throwing hand probably too.
Yeah, but that's the only thing I wanted to say though, that he also, Canales leaves a lot of room for personal interpretation by not coming out and so enthusiastically endorsing him like I think a lot of people want him to do.
Divine intervention, or did Bryce Young's parents pay somebody to pull out in front of him? I don't know.
They've got the one.
Yeah, next call.
What's up, fellas? This is Kyle, proudly representing the C3 Legion from Wilmington, North Carolina.
What's up, my man?
Just wanted to call in tonight and let y'all know that y'all are putting on a fantastic show. And to all these all-star listeners we have tuned in, thank you for coming by and hanging out with us on Tuesday night. Make sure you hit that like button and subscribe. This game, man, we just got done breaking down the film, and check us out. We live streamed that on Twitter, a C3 Legion, but Bryce needs to play better, man, make better decisions. Jatavian Sanders should have had at least 5 catches yesterday. He needs to get through his progressions better and stop just throwing it to his first read. He needs to trust his play because I can't blame it all on him, but I can't not blame him either. So, yeah, he needs to play better. Anyway, guys, keep pounding.
I have a friend that she says, find yourself someone to love like you guys love the Carolina Panthers. And I say find yourself someone to love like I love Kyle and the C3 Legion and all these great people that help us continue to do this each and every week. I don't know. I just think it's a testament too is like, how about this? Is imagine doing all this crap and we didn't have the Legion. Oh, y'all keep us going. We appreciate the calls. Let's keep rolling. We're moving through the show as you know. I feel like either apathy is apathy, CK, or we're getting better at this.
Yeah, I think it's a bit of both.
Hey guys, when it comes to Evero, he's got to go. No way around it. No more stages of execution for the guy. Just not working with you. Like the guy, you don't like the guy, whatever. He's got to go. And for all the fans to set up here for months on that Friday free-for-all screaming and yelling, let's keep him because we'll get draft picks if he gets a head coaching job, thinking that this defense was going to get him a head coaching job. And also basically just want to keep the guy because the NFL has a DEI rewarding policy. Let's face it, if he was white and his name was Eric Evans instead of Evero Edgero, this guy gets fired along with Frank Reich for doing that bad of a job. And he should have already been gone, and he should be gone. And I don't want to hear anybody else on the Friday free-for-alls talking about, oh, if we had kept him and he got a head coaching job in 26, that, you know, hey, we would have got some draft picks. Stop falling for the stupidity. Get the guy out of there. Get somebody in there that's good. Stop worrying about getting a compensatory draft pick just because of some NFL DEI bullcrap. Love you guys. Keep pounding. Happy and safe holidays.
I gotta disagree with this take though. I don't think that has anything to do with why he hasn't been fired yet. I think that firing Ejiro Evero at this point in the season doesn't help your team at all.
Yeah,
you know,
not
I mean,
right now.
It's not like it's going to give you a spark in your, it's like you kept him around for another year, so you didn't have everything changing at once.
Right.
And now you know that the defense has got to be rethought in a way. And so it's time to go get your guy or a guy that you believe that can really help you do that. I think the real AP is actually right on this. And we talked about this CK too earlier, I think after the last post game is the same exact, we know what's wrong with the team, and we know so many things and you don't have that, oh, we got to argue about Bryce for 9 hours now. It's just like, jury, like, let's talk about this defense, stuff like that. So real AP says, I think we're beating a dead horse with this team and running out of stuff to elaborate on. We've elaborated on it for a long time. Good Lord.
Yeah.
And now we're just in Groundhog Day of life. I'm actually very comfortable with this life right here. It's like, this is the life I'm used to. It's being treated like shit by the people that you love.
Yeah, dude, that's a common occurrence, man. At least we're used to it. We have more calls. You want to?
Yeah, we got 2 more calls.
What's up, my C3P family, man? This Drew with the flu.
What up, Drew?
Man, I'm from Charlotte, North Carolina, man. Born and raised, bro. Hey,
Yes,
listen,
sir.
man. I've been to every home game. I'm a PSL holder, man, and man, I've been disappointed, man. All year. I don't understand what kind of defensive scheme we're running. I watched us play against the Cowboys, man, and it was just too many times that, we got a safety on arguably the best wide receiver in football in CD Lamb. He was killing us, man. I don't understand. Is it me or why is JC Horn not following CD Lamb? I don't understand this, man. Our defensive coach, Rivero, man, he has to go. He has to be the first one fired out the door, man. That 3-4 defense is some trash, man. You know what I'm saying? And I'm tired of it. I can't watch this anymore. But here we are at our last home game against the Arizona Cardinals. It's gonna be 40 degrees outside. I mean, which ain't terrible, but shit. I mean, I wanted to see a good competitive game. Now most of our defense is hurt, you know, and I really believe that our team has like just given up, man, to say, hey, man, just roll over and wait for next year. But man, our defensive coordinator, he has to go, man. So y'all tell me what y'all think about that, and tell me what you think about the 3-4 defense, because to me, man, that shit is pure trash. All right, man. Love y'all, man.
Love you, brother. I appreciate you, Drew. Again, it's not that the 3-4 defense is trash. It's that whenever Carolina tries to run that shit, it looks trash as shit. And it does, man. And I think that we're trying to make this work for too long. I've said this before, that 3 years in a row under Rivero in this 3-4, and it just doesn't fit us, man. We're not able to stop the run. I would like to move back. I've been very vocal in that I would like to see Robert Saleh come here. I don't know how likely that is, Tony, but I've had a lot of problems with these defensive lineups for a long time, with how many times we drop a pass rusher back in the zone coverage on third downs.
Well, you have to do it in that scheme.
Yeah, but that's another reason why I don't like it. I'm not into it. I'm also not a fan of J.C. Horn not traveling around and being the best, putting good on good. That's what I feel like we need to do. And something that I will continue to say is that both Frankie Louvu and Jeremy Chan wanted nothing to do with another year under Ejiro Rivero. So I think you even have players now that don't want to be in this style of defense and playing in his specific scheme. So, I'm with you, Drew. I'm done with it. I want to go back to a base 4-3.
I just hate the 3-4 because, like, every time the Panthers run it on our defense, we stink. And anytime we face a 3-4 defense, we get slaughtered as a team. So I'm over the 3-4. Cody, we only got one more call left. Do you want to take it now, or do you want to?
No, let's do it, and that way we'll run through them. And if we have more, we'll play them.
Here we go.
Hey guys, it's Chuck from Elizabeth City. I just kind of wanted to chime in. It was a little, it's a setback this past weekend because I just knew we would beat Dallas from the way we played the past 5 weeks. And look, I honestly think being favored, something in the back of my mind told me that might not be a good thing. Maybe gave Dallas some bulletin board material. But I really look at things like this. Bryce had a bad game. But, I mean, I don't know. I look at the first fumble. I look at his first interception. They're kind of fluky. But it does happen. It looks like we started the game well, like you said, Tony. And we just kind of abandoned, the run. And it just didn't go our way. But I really want to say this. I like the energy that Dave Canales brings. I like what Dan Morgan's doing. I can just look. It's not just a 1 week glimpse like we had with Rule, like we kind of had, we had a few nice weeks with, different coaches at different times. But Canales brings an energy. I do think they have a plan. Now, like I said, if you can take the 5 weeks until this past game and look at it, how close we came to winning, how well we played, it's entertaining. We've come very close to having some W's there. We definitely need some more pieces. But I want to give Dan Morgan some more time to build. I definitely like what I see in Bryce. I'm hoping he's gaining confidence. Guys, we've been down for so long and we've been through so much. And every time it seems that we've got the right coach or right quarterback or we make a move, it just seems like it's fool's gold. But I really do think we have to give this coach We have to give Bryce Young. We have to give some of these players. We have to give this GM. We have to give it time. It will get better. I see it. I just see some growth and building. And, guys, you got to look at, like I said before, you got to look at the big picture. Kansas City on the verge, they could win 3 Super Bowls in a row. Never been done. Not to say it'll happen this year. But we go back 10 years ago, they were a franchise that was floundering in a 2-14 season. You never know what you pick up in a draft. You never know who you get coming your way. And guys, we just got to hang in there. It will get better.
Thanks, Chuck. It's actually great to hear back from you. It will get. I mean, I guess it will get better, man.
Yeah,
I mean, it's hard not to.
But the other thing we messed up is saying it couldn't get worse.
Yeah.
And no, I mean, it's not. Hopefully, it's just it's a matter of time. It's a matter of how long it takes to catch whatever it takes. You know what I mean? It took Andy Reid for the Chiefs. It wasn't Patrick Mahomes. It was Andy Reid and Alex Smith to start. Then Patrick Mahomes. You see what Detroit's doing. You just don't want it to be 30 freaking years. I don't want to be 65 years old doing this podcast. And we're finally happy.
Yeah, I mean, so much of it is we don't really know what we have in Canales yet. Like, we have some gripes with his play calling. Are we going to continue to have gripes with his play calling every year? Are we going to have performances where our offense just falls off a cliff? Like, consistency is going to be such a big part of this moving forward.
Yeah, we got some more calls coming in real quick, so we'll take those and power on through the show.
Hey guys, it's the Growl that makes him howl, aka Joey the Blind Panther. Oof, pour one out for me, y'all. I done made it through the gauntlet of a damn section full of Cowboys fans at work.
Oh shit!
And which I deserved it. I deserved the shit talk because I was talking some mad shit last week, boy. Because like many and like some of them had sense enough to say they did not expect us to lay the egg that we laid. We thought we were going to get the team that we gotten, since the Saints game, really. Since, we went toe-to-toe with the Chiefs and the Eagles. We thought we were getting that team. Well, obviously we didn't, and obviously we don't want to talk about it because it's fucking annoying, and it's another fucking loss to that goddamn team that I can't stand to save my life. Fuck the Cowboys. Eat shit, Cowboys. Eat shit.
Yeah.
But anyway, on to some good stuff. Dave Canales. Look, we have a team full of rookies from the front office all the way on down. Dan Morgan, rookie GM. Dave Canales, rookie coach. Bryce Young, damn near rookie quarterback. We got a lot of receivers. We got a lot of people on the offense, rookies. Jalen Coker, XL, who else? JT Sanders, who's like really gone quiet. I don't know if he's all the way back yet. Jonathan Brooks, who, by the way, you're going to draft someone. Please try not to draft someone that just tore their damn ACL and isn't going to be ready until, almost the end of the season and then tear it again. But Dave Canales, he is a culture builder. He is a builder of confidence. I think that he's got to learn his in-game stuff, but I think he will. And I think once he learns that, I think Dave Canales will be a great coach, and I think this will be a great team. Anyway, guys. Wow.
Shout out, Joey. It's pretty much just we have to have patience with Canales. Okay. We really have no other choice in the matter. But, we've seen a lot of good and we've seen some bad too. But let's also not pretend like we ever thought we were going to have a full picture of who Dave Canales is as a coach after year one, the first time he's ever been a head coach.
Yeah, I mean, it's I man, it's I don't know, man. This is just it's one of those things where it's tough to see a light at the end of the tunnel, but I believe that there is, and I think that I personally believe in Dave Canales, and I think that he has the capability of turning this team into something that we're excited about. So that's really the best answer I could give when it comes to this staff, this team. I mean, I don't know what the answers are, but I can tell you that I feel confident with what we have in place.
He didn't lose the team after a really
No,
bad time.
not at all.
All right, last call of the night.
Hey guys, the girl that makes him howl again, back to part 2. I can't believe I forgot to mention this. Double E, gotta leave. What the hell, man? I mean, we could have beaten the Cowboys just by taking away Rico Dowdle and CD Lamb.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the hell were you having the
that was all they had.
Cover CD Lamb? Boy, Double E's got to go. Our biggest problem is on defense. And someone was saying, well, it's not going to help the team to get rid of him now. Well, it ain't going to hurt the team. It's not like his defense was doing shit anyway. I mean, you see when one or two players get injured, there we go again. I mean, we were coming on as of late, and we start getting injured, and then we start doing the same old shit. Double E got to go. We've given him plenty long. We've given him a long leash. We kept him over for Frank Reich. I'm done with this 3-4 shit. Everybody is. I'm gonna keep pounding that drum till my hands fall off. I'm gonna do that damn drum like damn it, that game was so bad I forgot the Panthers legend who hit the drum in the fourth quarter. Like Kurt Coleman, I think. And broke damn thing.
Might have been Trey Boston.
But anyway. Wow.
All right, we appreciate the call. Cody Lack, what we got next?
Yeah, man. So this is just sort of recapping some of the things that the Panthers did well this past Sunday against the Cowboys. In his first game in over a month, Jalen Coker reeled in an 83-yard touchdown reception just before halftime, capping a one-play 83-yard drive. This was the longest reception of Coker's career and the 6th longest reception in Panthers history. Damn, that in history, that's fucking insane, huh?
Yeah, and one of them was in the Super Bowl, Musim Muhammad.
Yeah.
How about this? You're gonna love this one because we talked about this on the post game show. At least you noted it.
Yeah, this next one, according to Next Gen Stats, Coker reached a top speed of 21.15 miles per hour on the touchdown run. It's the fastest speed reached by a Panthers ball carrier since week 4, 2021, with DJ Moore running at 21.38 miles per hour. And yeah, this is sort of what I said in the postgame show, that part of the reason why he went undrafted
was the speed.
The speed. People said that he didn't have enough NFL speed. And look at my boy, just putting on the burners after burners, running away from fools, like I said on that show. And he did, man. He's been very impressive, dude. And I'm so happy to think about what he's going to be in the next couple of years for us. On the touchdown, Coker passed Corey Brown for the most yards in a single season by an undrafted rookie in franchise history. Coker finished the day with 4 catches for a team-high 110 yards and 1 touchdown. His first career 100-yard receiving game. Coker's 27.5 yards per catch were the most by a Panthers receiver since 2021, which was Shi Smith against Tampa Bay. With his 3-yard rush in the first quarter, running back Chuba Hubbard eclipsed 3,000 rushing yards for his career. So Chuba Hubbard's been pounding the rock since the moment he got here, man. He's one of the best weapons on our team right now. Moving to the defensive side. Oh, did you have anything I wanted to say about Coker before we moved on?
We're cokeheads.
Yeah, buddy.
And
all coked up, dog.
It would be neat, it'd be neat to build a positive future and it be around a story of a guy maybe like Jalen Coker being a big part of your success. To me, it's like, I know that Steve Smith was a 3rd round pick, but like, it's like, isn't it cool that your team lore is built around a person that was overlooked, So if he could come out and be a star or be a really good player for the Panthers for a few years, I'm here for it.
Hell yeah. Yeah, same here. I think he's our own version of Puka Nacua, man.
All right, let's ease up. Puka Nacua had like 15 catches and 200 yards. Man, this
Yeah, I
guy's
mean, all he
great,
needed
dude.
was a little more time, the same amount of snaps. Bro, and Carter's the man. Cornerback J.C. Horn notched his second sack of the season on the opening drive of the game. 15-yard loss, forcing a Cowboys punt on the next play. Today marked Horn's third consecutive home game with the tackle for loss. He finished the game with 2 tackles, both solo, 1 pass defended, 1 tackle for loss, and 1 quarterback hit. Coming into the game, Horn was tied for 6th in the league in passes defended. So as I said earlier, I'm a fan of paying him now. Just do it. Get it out the way. Do it while it's cheaper rather than – so now you have Sauce Gardner coming up to be paid, and Derek Stingley Jr. for the Houston Texans is looking really, really good. So he's going to continue to drive that number up and up. Pay J.C. Horn now. Do it now. Get it over with. Eat whatever it costs now, and let's move on.
All right. So for the rest of the this is, by the way, inside the numbers from Panthers.com. So we didn't write this, but just discussing it. DJ Johnson, you've seen his name a little bit more throughout the season. He reached 40 tackles for the season this year, had 5 solo tackles in this one, and was able to get a fumble recovery that set up Coker's 83-yard touchdown. Josie Jewell, really the only memorable player on the team to me, on the defense in so many ways. So, all right, let's keep powering through.
Yeah, outside linebacker DJ Johnson recovered the first.
Oh no, I just read all those. Go.
Oh, you read all of them?
Yeah, I got it. I paraphrased.
Paying attention.
Actually, I didn't look. We don't. Let's not go through all of this, but Cheryl is on IR after having. And did we draft? Was he a draft pick?
No.
Where the hell did he come from?
I don't even know.
All right.
He wasn't a draft pick. I know that.
All right, let's keep going. This is fine. We don't need.
Unless he was, and I'm fucking an idiot. This is Know Your Foe. This is all on the Arizona Cardinals. So the Cardinals are 30-17. The Cardinals are coming off of a 30-17 win against the Patriots. But that win was on the heels of a 3-game losing streak. The Panthers are 14-6 all time against the Cardinals. Carolina is 8-4 at home and 6-2 on the road. The Panthers have also faced the Cardinals 3 times in the playoffs. So we have gotten the best of Arizona traditionally for a long time. But this has also been, remember, like this has been something of a rivalry game. Like I feel like generally this is one of those rivalries where Panthers are pretty confident whenever we play the Cardinals.
Kyler Murray's having his best season since 2021. He's got over 3,000 yards. He's got 15 touchdowns, 8 interceptions. He's been playing well. I hope CK isn't gone because I need to ask him. Is that we might be in trouble because I think the double XP on Call of Duty. The new Call of Duty is over. So Kyler Murray might not be addicted to video games right now and could be studying for the Carolina Panthers.
Oh, shit.
Murray's been, airing the ball out. Trey McBride is the leader in Cardinals receptions, 89 targets, 938 yards. And now Marvin Harrison Jr. is starting to become a touchdown target. He only had 2 receptions in the last game, but he has 7 touchdowns this season. And if he had 2 catches last week, do you remember like early in the season, probably was like, oh, Marvin Harrison Jr. only had 1 catch for whatever. And then the next week he had like 4 touchdowns or something, like just like his monster game. Let's hope that Marvin Harrison get right game is not against the Carolina Panthers. And right now, I mean, I don't know what to think about the Arizona Cardinals. Kind of They're a team that has gotten a lot better, or was better than people thought they were going to be last year. They were kind of they were, scrappy last year. They're feisty this year, but they've been up and down. James Conner, though, has been pretty good for them. He's touched the ball on 48. He's taking all of the offensive snaps, He's touched the ball 48, almost 50% of the time. He's got 217 carries for 973 yards, 7 touchdowns. Look for Connor to have a good day. Maybe go to Underdog Fantasy and hit the more than.
yeah, I would too.
For Connor. And their defense is missing 2 guys. They lost Mac Wilson and Jesse Luketa. The former was due to a concussion, right? And the other had a thigh injury. Buda Baker's still back there. He's second in the NFL with total tackles at 142. CK, at your back, I was mentioning this, is that Kyler Murray could be a problem for the Carolina Panthers. Didn't the double XP or the extra XP for Call of Duty just end recently?
Oh, dang. Oh, no. We're in trouble.
Yeah. I mean, we were hoping that he was just playing video games the whole time. I knew you would like that.
No. Listen, I am, if you're a Panthers fan, this is not a game that you're like going into where you're like, oh, we've got this. James Conner has been balling out the last few weeks. You have Kyler Murray who can escape the pocket in a heartbeat. And then you have Marvin Harrison Jr., who
touchdown machine.
He's a touchdown machine. And if JC Horn isn't covering him, that dude could be all over the scoreboard on Sunday. I'm not. This is up until last week. I thought this is one of those games where it's very, it might be a close game, but I have a feeling that we would win it. This is not a game that I'm coming into, if I'm a Panthers fan, saying like, man, we have a real shot. Like, I really think this is a scary game because
they're fighting for a division too. They got a lot to play for.
They have something to play for, and they just don't they have explosive attributes, and and I don't think that they're going to do what the Eagles did, which is not, lean on their run game when they should have. The Eagles should have just ran the ball constantly, even though they had over 200 yards. You think that's a silly statement. They could have had easily 300 if they actually ran the ball.
500 at one point.
Yeah. So I think that the Cardinals are not going to make that mistake, and I think they're going to be running down the throats, especially given that we have a lot of injuries on defense now.
Good news, though. Easy did that. Said double XP is still on, playing while he's listening. So, hey, maybe Kyler Murray would be distracted, but it doesn't matter because James Conner is just going to run over everybody. We'll go ahead and get our picks in for this. I'm picking the Cardinals.
Yeah, I'm also picking the Cardinals.
And part of this is just me going back and never picking I'm not picking the Panthers anymore. Like, I think last week was the first time I picked the Panthers since week 1.
Yeah, I think the combination of Connor, Marvin Harrison, and Kyler Murray, that's going to be a tall order for the boys.
Tough story unfolding for Deontay Johnson, a guy that was contractually, or it looked like he was making a mark for being a good player, somebody that's going to contribute and could even be considered maybe like a 1B type player or a solid number 2, kind of like if you think back like a Golden Tate type guy or something to that effect. Deontay Johnson was excused from practice activities. I'm not really sure what's going on to that, but the things are not working out in Baltimore for my man. This is a headline from Cat Crave. Former Carolina Panthers wide receiver becomes poster child for botching contract year. I don't know. I mean, is he wrong? I don't want to kick a goo when he's down in a sense, but nobody thought it was a bad idea for him to leave and try to get traded at the time. It's just that it didn't work out, right? I mean, it's just kind of like, oh wow, that's so weird. It says Deontay refused to go into the game. What a dummy.
Yeah, what is he even doing, man? Him and Devondre Campbell, the linebacker for the 49ers.
Oh, I'm all
He just
about that
walked
guy,
off
like
the field.
quitting, like quit football.
Yeah, like, dude, what are you doing? But also, I mean, I say but I guess they don't. Dude, just how tough it is to get in the door of an NFL organization, and then you're essentially pissing away your last chance at being a full-time professional. Like, I just don't understand it, man. The sense of self-entitlement from some of these players is just wild, man.
Yeah, I mean, especially when money's on the table.
He wasn't bad here.
No, it was great.
You know what I mean?
I
like,
thought it was good.
He was a decent player, and I felt like he was we felt like he was the number one at a point in time. But a lot of people have even started to theorize that maybe he was a locker room cancer that contributed to Bryce Young playing so bad, which I don't know. That's all speculation. But
Yeah.
But they say a bad apple will spoil the bunch.
All right, what's next? Oh, I need to probably read here. I'll pull it up. I didn't even read. What do you think about this headline? This is Stat Crave. Dave Canales' inner confidence stifled after Carolina Panthers regression. Here, I want to see if they've got a quote that.
I mean, I don't know if stifled.
Man, all right, here's the quote they got that I think that I'm assuming they're building the story. That's the story of the game, and so we address the group. That's not the brand of football we want to play. We got to take care of the ball so we can be balanced, so we continue to mix our runs. You know what? The biggest part is just ball security. You know what? This is an internet click headline. Well done, Dan Tana, for making the show over a nothing burger.
Yeah, it was the idea that 5 weeks of people were like, oh man, the Panthers are starting to turn it around. One game is enough to make them say, well, maybe never mind. Yeah, it's like,
and he's just not
now.
happy. He's not, he's just not happy. I mean, imagine if he came out there and was like, oh yeah, it was a great step forward for the team. No, I mean,
right. I mean, like, you can't, this overreaction stuff is just ridiculous. Like this, I know that we all do it and, we are sensationalists or what have you, but this mindset that 1 week is all of a sudden different than the past 5 weeks is absolutely hysterical to me. Like for 5 weeks, we were all just like singing the praises of Dave Canales and his team. And they seem to have a fight to them that we haven't seen in a while. One bad game. And it's just like, we're right back to the where we were before, the past, before we actually won a game, in Germany or the week before against the Saints.
I don't. Here, maybe should we just listen to the clip, Cody, of him talking about Travis Hunter? Here we go. I think.
Yeah, if you want.
I got it right here. And for all the ladies, they get to look at Dave Canales.
Make sure the volume's all the way up.
What are your thoughts on a two-way player in the NFL?
I think about Deion Sanders. He had his way to do it. Coach Prime, and so he's kind of right there with somebody who could mentor him through some of that. And I think it would be a challenge. I think it would be a good challenge, a good problem to talk through for any team to get a player of that caliber. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. You look good. We got it, bro.
What a hunk.
I tell you who's not a hunk. Travis Hunter. God, what a terrible picture that was.
Have you seen this story going around with his girlfriend?
No.
So he was doing some signing, a fan signing, and his girl is sitting there like complaining, like, why do I gotta sit here the whole time? We gotta go. Well, apparently she got so embarrassed by it that she put out like an 8 minute long video, like explaining herself to the internet, like why she wasn't just being an ultra entitled bitchy girlfriend.
Oh God! Just leave that girl in the dust when you get.
That's what everybody else is saying.
He already
man.
makes $1.6 million in a year from the
Yeah,
NIL.
he's rich. Yeah.
All right. Is that it?
That's the final one, man. And how about y'all go to our website, CarolinaCatChronicles.com. Get you some merch, baby. Get you that C3 Panthers podcast shirt so you can let everybody know you're a part of the C3 Legion. And listen, man, whatever you sip on in the morning, if it's a hot cup of coffee, if it's some tea, maybe you got some lean in that cup. Whatever, man. Whatever. We don't judge. Buy you a mug, bro, so you can sip on that while you listen to the C3 Panthers podcast.
Love it, man. Thanks for supporting the show. We got one last segment, the longest running Panthers podcast. We got the longest running segment, and that's where we tell someone to ice up, toughen up, get it together. Cody, let's ice some fools up.
Let's do it.
Ice up, son. Ice up.
It's our homage to Steve Smith, where we tell someone to ice up, toughen up, get it together. Anyone's fair game. We can step outside the lines of football if we like and ice up 12-year-olds in Oklahoma at one point. I've iced up my own family, my kids, myself. Everyone is fair game, and extra bonus points for people almost dying on the internet. Cody Lack, do you have any tonight?
I do. I don't have one of somebody dying. So
No, but womp.
yeah, but I do have this. So there is this podcast host named Bobby Altoff. She got really famous. Really
I like
fast.
her though.
Yeah. Okay. So this went on the internet trending. Famous podcaster Bobby Altoff has made her relationship public with Arizona Cardinals cornerback Sean Murphy Bunting. This is her first relationship since divorcing her husband. Sean went on Twitter
And sleeping with Drake.
Man, Sean went on Twitter and said, "That's not me." Then they even gave it.
Oh, the Dove Cleveland dude. This guy is always stirring shit up on the internet. Oh, I got a good one for you too. All right, keep going.
No, that's all I got. If I have another one, I'll tell you.
All right, CK, you got one?
Nah, man, I'm good.
All right. My first ice up pick goes to Apple products or Apple iPhones. I'm sorry, guys. I know that all y'all are gonna ice me up for saying this, but screw that. My phone finally bit the dust a few days ago, and I try to buy a phone outright. So I'm hitting on the eBay and the refurbished joints. By the way, you can go to Mint Mobile right now and get fucking cheap ass service, and it's freaking pretty awesome. But I actually had bought my daughter older Apple iPhone for Christmas because they all want to be the green or blue button people, and iMessages. Once I kind of hooked my phone number up, so I just I pulled my SIM card out and threw it in that iPhone. And basically like cloned my phone for a couple of days and didn't do anything. But anytime since I turned on iMessages, if somebody texts me and they had an iPhone, when I switched to my fly ass Google Pixel, right? The iMessage, so I was sending people, they could get my text, but I couldn't get theirs because it was sending it to the Apple ID crap. So you got to go in there and try to like delete me as a It's just like, man, Apple, you can't even make it. So they won't even let you leave the ethos. Right? It's like, yeah. Oh, you want to leave Apple? You'll never get a text message again. So ice up to Apple. Also, just see, hold on. And this is all, and then I'm done. Yeah, I saw Sheena Quick call him out. Dave Newton back with a typo.
Oh, good.
It's not even that bad. Where did it go? Please say he didn't take it down. God, I saw it earlier. Anyway, Sheena Quick called him out. He's misspelled 4. And, obviously everybody made fun of him on the internet. So Dave Newton typing and texting and driving. Ice up, son.
Did you see the one where he called Dave Canales a corner? The Panthers corner, Dave Canales.
I love you, man. I love you. I love you, David Newton. All right. Cody, that is the show in record time, man. We're getting better at this. It seems like will be plenty of nights where we argue into the wee hours of the morning. So we'll take this as a win for us. Sadly, the Panthers haven't been winning at all, but we'll be here on Tuesdays, on Fridays, and on Sunday after the Arizona Cardinals game. Cody Lack, take us out of here.
C3 Panther Nation. Until next time, keep pounding, baby.